Hello everybody and welcome to my video today, you guys. We are going to make a card and our primary focus is going to be on designer paper. This is another video in my simple cards with fun techniques series, and we're focusing on designer paper today. So what I chose to use was the Well Said bundle. So this is a stamp set and a die set that go together. This is carrying over into the annual catalog, which is nice. It is a great set to have, and I really wanted to find a way to have both of my sets in one container, but as you can see, there are a lot of stamps to this set, so I think I'm gonna have to keep them in two containers. So we're going to be using the Well Said stamps and then also the dies. So I'm using this piece of designer paper. This designer paper is retiring. It is the Love What You Do paper, and it has some great pieces in it. This is one of my favorites. This is definitely my style. You guys probably recognize that kind of style. If you followed me for a while, you know I gravitate towards these kinds of styles. So I'm starting with a mint macaroon piece of cardstock. I cut this at 4 1/4, and then I folded it at 5 1/2. And then this is the entire, this covers the whole front of my card. And I did that on purpose. You guys have seen me do this where then I build layers on top of it, but we're actually going to use this piece. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm definitely using my grid mat for this, what I'm going to do. And it may not come out exactly perfect, and each card that you do like this will come out different if you're going to do something like free forming it. So what you can do is just, I'm using my grid, and I am just making a light line with my bone folder, and I can barely see it, and it's at an angle. The other thing is I have these stitched borders. These are by Lawn Fawn. I keep them in my collection for different things like this. This one would be good. So I think maybe I'll use one of these to do this kind of technique. What I want to do is snip off the corner, and I'll show you both ways that I did it. I just want to kind of snip off a corner. So let me run this through my die cut machine, and I'll be right back. So I set it right in my Big Shot just like this, and now this piece is going to come off. We're going to remove this stitched piece, and then right on our designer paper we're going to have a tiny stitch. Now this is going to look a little bit different than the original one I designed, and I'm going to show you both. But they both work. So you could either do what I showed you with the bone folder and just make a light line and then cut it, which I did one like that, and I'll show you how it turned out. Or you can use this stitched technique. So what I want to do now is pop this piece up, and in order to do that I am going to use some fun foam, which is going to work great. And we'll just add a piece here. Now for this, we are definitely going to add this right to the edge. This part's a little bit tricky lining it up when it's on foam, but just take your time and line it up. So this already looks so pretty, I think. So now what I've done is I've taken a piece of rich raspberry, which coordinates with this paper, and I've cut that using my stitched rectangles, and we're going to put that right here just like this. But first we're going to do our sentiment on here. So the first thing I've done is I've cut thanks out of the dies, and you just pop out these little pieces that sometimes can stay in there. You can see they pop out really easily. We're going to have that there. I want to add a few things, just since we're not using a lot of other elements and we're not stamping a lot of things, we're not coloring a lot of things, we want to add a couple different elements to this. So I'm taking some old olive linen thread. This is retiring, and you'll want to make sure you pick it up if you don't already have it. I probably snipped off a little too much there. I'm going to wrap this around 2 or 3 times. And then we're going to tie a bow. Okay, so we have our bow, and then we can put our thanks. Now, the other thing you can do is stack a couple of these together. So cut out a few on Whisper White cardstock and then stack these together and you'll get a thicker die cut, and it acts as a really fun embellishment. I'm just doing one here for the sake of doing it on the video. We'll place that right here, and you can see it's not in the middle and it's not quite on the bottom. I'm doing that for a very specific reason, because what we have next is we have our heart felt right here. I know it's really tiny. It's a little bit tiny, right? Okay, so we want to take our snips, because the snips have a very fine tip. It's very sharp, and so it's easy to get right in here and then make your banner. So we want the top here to be just like that. And then I don't quite need so much of that white here on the end. I always like to stamp with a lot of room in case it just is easier in case I mess up or something. But I definitely don't need that much. So now we can just take our snail and attach this right under the ribbon and right above the thanks. And I wanted to kind of get that bow so that the heartfelt was right on that bow. And I did pretty good. Just like that. And then, let me close this up. Oh, I did the wrong side. Well, sometimes that happens. We'll just see if it's gonna work. Well, what we'll do is we'll put a couple dimensionals, or how about a little bit of foam? Okay, so I just put a little bit of foam on there because remember the whole card opens up. So this part is still part of the card, but it's popped up, remember? So now what we'll do is we'll just put this here. And that worked out good, putting the foam on there. So this is our card. So let me show you this card here. I just cut it. So I just did that where I put a little line and I snipped this off and I added the same way. And then this one we used the die. So if you happen to have any of these like kind of stitched border dies in your collection, it's another way to use them, which is really nice. And then this is using the Well Said bundle, so the dies and the stamps. It's definitely one you want to pick up in your collection. So thank you guys so much for watching my video today. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll be back later to craft with you some more. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and watching my videos. Here are 2 other of my most recent videos. I would love for you guys to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will catch you in my next video. I hope you all have a wonderful day.